welcome back to Weekly Chat. It is Friday the 26th of September, and I could have got this done on Wednesday for the midweek chat, but I had other things going on. I had my tag video that went up on Wednesday, which did very well. Great response to that, so thanks to people who watched and commented and enjoyed that, and also the people who've already done their tag videos. That's really cool. I think 2 or 3 people have done it so far, so that was really cool. And then yesterday I started my podcast back up again, the RazorwireReviews podcast, which kind of reminded me why I stopped doing it in the first place. There wasn't much response to it. There was a guy who commented, I did see that, but yeah, it was a bit of a weak response. I was hoping for more feedback on it, but at the same time, it's only been over a day, and you can go and check it out anytime you want. And this is also a reminder to go check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it, and next week will be my WrestleMania 30 story, my very long WrestleMania 30 story. I'll be talking about the whole trip, so that'll be kind of like a feature-length, probably 1-hour podcast, I think, next week. And it'll be on Thursday. I'm going to stick to Thursday as my podcast day. But yeah, the secretary was on fine form this week and informed me of the topics before Wednesday came around, but I just couldn't. I didn't want to put 2 videos up in one day, so I'm doing it today, and it is Weekly Chat. And the first topic, without any further ado, is how big is your to-watch pile? I'm assuming this is more like physical media, you know, like just Blu-rays you have stacked up that you need to watch. I don't really do that. I know like Robbie Webster has like a full cupboard, or he did at one point, of just like to watch, you know, Blu-rays, and he would only put Blu-rays on the shelf in his collection after he'd watched them, which I think is a great system, but it's just one I've never used myself. So I don't have a physical pile. And outside of just Blu-rays, you know, films I can watch on Netflix or other ways, you know, I just spotted something on my TV that's really bugging me. I think it's a fly. There's those little midgies around the past few days, really bugging me. It's like they're not big enough to swat, but and they're not like too small that you notice them, but they're just the right amount of sizeage. Bear with me, that it annoys you, and really it annoys me. Right, I'm not going to do a rant video, so don't worry. It's just sat there. Look, it's looking at me right now. Okay, there's other ways I watch films. So in terms of like a to-watch pile in my head, it's endless. You know, I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I don't think there'll ever be a point where I think, oh, there's no films I want to watch. You know, obviously there's times when you don't feel like watching a certain type of movie, but you know, in terms of films that I want to see, that will never go away. But you know, in terms of what I've got, there's quite a few. All Quiet on the Western Front, The Sting, I need to watch still, Brazil, looking at my collection, excuse me, now, Unforgiven, the Japanese version, The Abdominal Dr. Phibes, still haven't watched that since Arrow sent it to me and said, we will not be sending you anything more because we got complaints. So I said, okay, I will not be reviewing that then. Day of the Dead, still need to see that. I'm probably going to wait till October for that one. What else have we got? A couple of massive cinema titles and a few things that I'll save for a Blu-ray update. And then I have like my folders worth of Blu-ray discs I brought over from home back in Wales. I have tons in there as well. The original Unforgiven I need to watch. LA Confidential, True Romance, Heaven's Gate, Monty Python and Life of Brian. Yeah, there's quite a few I have in terms of Blu-rays I have here, but otherwise, I mean, there's always stuff I'm going to want to watch. I don't think there's any film fan out there who's seen everything that they would ever want to see. Do you prefer true stories or fiction? I love both. I mean, with fiction you can escape into either a world that is, you know, something that you'll never, you know, experience yourself, like in Star Wars, or, you know, science fiction, fantasy, stuff like that, or whether it's just, you know, a film that is not quite perfectly real, like for some reason The Breakfast Club's popped into my head, and people might say, oh, that's a realistic film. You know, it's not like it's you know, high fantasy or anything, but I mean, you know, it's a little too perfect. You know, it's such a great film to watch, and I love it. It's amazing, but you know, I just can't imagine there would ever be a group of people who would be like all that different and would all sit down and, like, you know, talk about their feelings and have fun, and then, you know, go through the downs and the ups. You know, it's just such a perfectly crafted film, but it's something you can escape into, something that probably has never happened before. There's never been a group of people like that before who have connected on that level and had that experience in one day. You know, even Before Sunrise, I think, is kind of an idealistic film, whereas the later films, particularly Before Midnight, I think Before Midnight is a lot more realistic, but the first one has a kind of a just kind of a little haze of idealism to it, I think, and that's enjoyable to watch, that kind of stuff that probably wouldn't ever happen in real life in terms of just being so well written and so well staged and everything. But you know, that's what fiction is all about, is just presenting a great story. E.T., you know, that's just almost a perfect film, you know. And you know, true stories, whether you're talking about documentaries or you know, films like JFK, I love those, but I do have a problem with them. Well, it's not really a problem, but the thing I find with those films is that when I watch them, I'm constantly thinking in my head, how real is that? Did that happen? Did this conversation take place? Did that part of the story actually happen? What are they embellishing? And I'm like, my hand, I was trying just, you know, just stop my hand from reaching to my phone and going to IMDb or Wikipedia and trying to like look all the details, and afterwards I just go like, you know what was, you know, comparing the two and stuff. And so that can almost be exhausting, you know, at times with my brain, because I love to know what's real and what's not. But at the same time, it adds a kind of a thrill that you can't really get from a fiction film. Apollo 13, for example. I mean, watching that film, not only is it an incredible film if it wasn't a true story, but you know, knowing that it happened gives you a really cool feeling, I think, and it enhances the viewing experience in a certain way. Not to say that they're always better than fiction, but it has something different to it, a different edge to it. And with Apollo 13, you know, the funny story is when they screened that film for test audiences before it was released to the public, the main criticism was that it has a Hollywood ending, in that everyone survived at the end. So, you know, that's just hilarious. But the third topic, has your viewing tastes... Well, just to round that off, you know, I love both. I couldn't really pick one over the other, but if I was forced to by gunpoint, I'd go with fiction, because I think there's more quality work there just by a sheer, you know, calculation of ratio. I think there's just a lot more fiction films out there, and a lot more quality films out there than true story based stuff. But at the same time, you know, there's tons of great films based on true stories. Number 3, has your viewing taste on YouTube changed over the years? I'm glad I did this video a couple of days after everyone else, because I think I misread the question when I first got it sent to me by the illustrious secretary. I read it and I thought it meant, has your viewing taste in films changed while being on YouTube over the years? But I think what everyone's been answering it is like the videos they watch on YouTube. Definitely my viewing taste have changed over YouTube. It often reflects my kind of state of mind at the time, or the phase I'm going through. When I first found YouTube, I was watching wrestling stuff because I was traveling around the UK and wrestling myself, and posting my own wrestling videos, so that was what I was mainly watching. You know, funny clips from Raw or whatever, or just other stuff that people were recommending to me. I know a lot of the guys I was friends with are watching like Japanese stuff and independent stuff from America, and so that's what YouTube was all about, was wrestling at that point. And then, you know, it moved on, and you know, I changed, and I got into music for the first time in my life. Like, I'd always, you know, love music, like pop stuff when I was like a teenager, but I mean, like, fully appreciate and love music. It didn't happen until I was like, how old would I have been? 19. And I got big into music then, Pink Floyd, Rush, Metallica, The Who, and I'd watch like countless like live videos and stuff, and you know, some of those songs I would just play so many times on YouTube, and I'd be up at my dad's place just lying in bed, and there's like a kind of skylight, and I'd just be looking at the stars at night, and just with music on endlessly, and listening to all sorts of different stuff. And that's what YouTube was about for me at that point. And then I kind of went through a depressive point in my life, and so I watched a lot of vlogs that were related to depression, stuff like that, which I found helpful, but at the time not so helpful. At the same time not so helpful, so it was a weird one. But yeah, vloggers mainly I watched around the late 2000s. And then, you know, it moved over to just, I mean, you'd always watch stuff like fail videos, or they weren't called fails then, that term hadn't really been coined, but, you know, man getting hit by football, you know, stuff like that. And then early 2010s, I started watching wrestling videos that weren't wrestling, but were people talking about wrestling, and that kind of community. So I got into that, and then that's why I started my channel, to start talking about wrestling. And then I quickly became disillusioned with that whole community and side of YouTube, and quickly jumped ship over to the YouTube movie community, and have been there ever since for the past 3 years, I guess it's been. I started making movie videos around summer of 2011, so I think I got a Blu-ray player pretty much right now, 3 years ago. So it's been 3 years now of being in the Blu-ray community. I'll never call it the Blue Tube community, but you know, the Blu-ray collecting / movie YouTube community is where I hang my hat right now, and that's where I'm happy to be. But you know, again, I mentioned it in my tag video. I watch other videos. You know, I watch like I watch other vloggers still. You know, and you know, again, fail videos, things like that. So you know, and music videos at times as well. I watched a couple of Rush videos the other day. So you know, it goes back to what you used to watch, but it's not kind of the dominant thing of your viewing habits, I think. So it changes and it reflects on what you're kind of into at the time, I guess. A lot of stuff I watch these days is Cinemassacre stuff as well, not just the Angry Video Game Nerd, but his other videos and, well, their other videos, you know, Mike Matei included. So yeah, that's how my viewing changes of my viewing tastes have changed over the years, watching YouTube, and also watching music covers, which has been a very important part of my life, in a weird way, as it turned out. But yeah, so there you go. There's my 3 answers to the 3 topics this week. 3 really good topics. Hope you enjoyed this weekly chat. And as always, if you feel like doing it yourself, do it, and leave the link in the description of in the comments of this video, and I'll watch it. And you know, you get yourself involved in this little thing we've got going here, where a core group of us do these videos every week, and it's a lot of fun to watch them and so on. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll probably put links to the other midweek chats in the description of this video down below if you want to check them out. I haven't seen them yet, like Thomas. I know James and Ian have done one. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos as always.
He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool. Even though I'm sure he's a quite nice guy, really. He's a quite nice guy, really.